Sonic, the heart of your system.
What's up everybody, my name's Andy and welcome to Kit Guru. So today we're checking out the Asus Zenfone 6. So is this quite possibly the world's best selfie phone? Well, Andy, there's no camera on it on the front, right? Well, you're right, but you're also wrong because this phone's secret weapon is a dual flip camera. So let's jump straight in with the price. So it's currently on sale for $519.99 in the UK. So our model has a Snapdragon 855. It's got 6 gigabytes of LPDDR4X RAM, 128 gigabytes of storage, and you can increase this up to 2 terabytes via a micro SD card. It has a 6.4-inch FHD Plus wide view display, dual SIM card support, a 5000 mAh battery, which supports USB-C fast charge via Quick Charge 4.0, Bluetooth 5.0 support. It also has NFC, which can be used for mobile pay, and it also comes with a clear case. So design-wise, this is quite a large phone. It's 159.1 millimeters by 75.44 millimeters by 8.4 to 9.1 millimeters. And it has a weight of 190 grams. Now, personally, I found that this design is fairly slippery, and even with the case on, it doesn't really help because even the case is pretty slippery as well. So just bear that in mind. It doesn't have any IP rating, and this means that dirt or dust or water or anything like that could potentially damage the flip mechanism. So you've got to be careful not to expose this phone to the elements essentially, but it does feature a headphone jack, which many of you will be happy to hear. It has stereo dynamic speakers. On the left side of the phone, you have the SIM tray, and on the right side of the phone, you have all the buttons that you will find on this phone. Now, this design has been chosen for ease of use so that you can use it easily with one hand. On the right-hand side, you've got the smart key, and this is default to Google Assistant, but you can change this to whatever you like. Now, you'll also find the volume rocker and the power button as well. And on the back of the phone, you can find the fingerprint reader. Now, this is incredibly fast at unlocking the device, but some people may not like the placement because some people prefer it on the side, things like that. But personally, I actually really like this design because it's exactly where my index finger rests when I'm holding the phone. So I've always been quite a big fan of the fingerprint reader on the back. Now, on the base of the phone, you can find the USB-C charging and data transfer port. Now, moving over to the display, it is a notchless 6.4-inch IPS display. It's got a slight chin and an even smaller forehead that houses a speaker. The resolution of this is 2340 by 1080p, and it's got a 92% screen to body ratio. Now, colors on this, it's got 600 nits of brightness and cinema grade 100% DCI P3 color gamut for vivid colors. And the screen is also made out of Gorilla Glass 6. So this is scratch resistant and not scratch proof. Now, with this, you can have a blue light filter enabled, so it can help your eyes in the evening. And one big feature, which is quite nice to see on this because most phones only support a small amount, is the fact that this one supports up to 10 points multi-touch. So instead of just getting your pinch and drag options, you can actually have up to all of your fingers and thumbs on the screen at the same time, and it will recognize all those inputs. So this could be great for gaming or editing apps or maybe painting apps or anything like that. Now, I found the display to be crystal clear, and the size makes watching videos like YouTube or movies or anything else especially enjoyable because the colors, they really do pop. Now, on the performance front, the Wi-Fi connects instantly, and I really like the fact that they've included a QR reader. So if you're somewhere where they have a Wi-Fi password in a QR code, instead of having to manually enter that in, you can just scan it with your phone and it connects straight away. So I did really enjoy this, even though it's only a tiny feature. Now I keep saying this because it is one of my favorite features of the phone, but I do think it's excellent for media consumption because the stereo speakers are brilliant and the crystal clear display just makes it super enjoyable. Now light gaming is also enjoyable, and I didn't experience any hiccups at all, but to be fair, I only did light gaming on this. I didn't really push it to its max. Now flipping between multiple apps and tabs was also smooth, and overall I think the performance was great on this phone. I didn't really find any stuttering or anything like that, which I was quite happy about. So software wise, the Zenfone 6 comes preloaded with Android Pie, which is Android 9, but it does also have Asus ZenUI 6, which is their own sort of take on it. And this includes a dark mode, adjustable on-screen controls to make one-handed operation easier, and I found this to work really well. And most options appear towards the bottom half of the screen because of this, so it does make it easier. So if you've got smaller hands, you'll find it nice and easy to navigate. And another feature of ZenUI is smart volume. So this adapts ringtones or any media or anything like that to the location that you're in. So it tries to listen out to if you're in a loud environment or a quiet one, and it tries to adjust the volume for that so you have no nasty surprises. If you're in a meeting, for instance, it's not going to play at full media. Even if that's what you've got it set to, it will bring it down so it's not as obnoxious. However, if you don't want this, then you can turn it off. Now the next point is probably the biggest point of this phone, and this is where we really get the Zenfone 6 unique selling point. We're going to look at the cameras. So it has dual flip cameras via a mechanism. The main camera is a 48 megapixel Sony IMX 586 sensor with an aperture of f1.79. So not only does this mean it's great in low light, it also creates great bokeh. So basically it separates the subject from the background, so it gives you that nice blurry background look, and that's another point of this sensor. Now the second camera is a 13 megapixel ultra-wide camera, and let's talk about the quality first. So I kept adaptive HDR mode on for more dynamic range and details that would otherwise be lost in certain conditions. So if it's on a very bright sunny day, you might find that the sky is overexposed, but whatever you're looking at is correctly exposed. However, with HDR, it essentially takes a couple of pictures and tries to expose for both of those and then merge it into one to give you a better dynamic range. And personally, I thought that this was really, really good. I was very impressed with the capabilities that this smartphone had to offer. So the quality and details in the images are outstanding, even from the ultra-wide, despite the 35 megapixels less than the main camera. But megapixels aren't everything. The main point of a higher megapixel count is if you're going to blow up a picture onto a canvas, for instance, the more megapixels, the better. But just for sharing on Facebook, stuff like that, there's not a massive deal breaker here, but the main camera is better than the wide angle. So usually with ultra wides, you'll get distortion and you'll get bowed edges, which kind of make it look like you've got a bit of a fish eye lens there. But you don't actually get that here, which I was quite surprised at. If you take a look at this example, the same shot is from both cameras, where I'm shooting directly towards the sun, covered by some clouds. Now the adaptive HDR ensures perfect exposure, as we talked about earlier, from the clouds and the grass. Now I am really impressed by this, and the same can be said with video. And testing out the stabilization whilst walking showed good results, and I wasn't expecting that, so I'm quite happy with that. Obviously you'll still get some shake, it's not like using a gimbal, and overall I'm impressed with the quality of images, but close up you can see that the main camera is much better quality, but this is to be expected. Now let's talk about the main feature, the motorized flip mechanism. Now there is a notch on the back of the phone that lets the camera flip up around for selfies, but it can also do some extra things, so I'll run those off now. So you can do auto panorama tilt, which you'll see an example of, and this is great providing that you are stood still, because this can give you really good results as you don't have to move at all. The phone mechanism just does it all for you. The next feature is auto tracking, and this lets you lock onto a subject and the camera will follow it, providing it's moving from right to left or up and down, because that's the way the mechanism flips. So there is some limitations here. Another great feature is the auto retract on fall. So as soon as the camera detects that it's in free fall, it will snap the camera straight back in to avoid any long lasting damage at least. Now, when you're in the camera app, you can tap the flip camera button to automatically enable front facing, or you can hold your finger and drag up and down to manually move the mechanism to where you'd like it. Now this works great, but this is also where there are some issues. So not only will this potentially fail over time, or at least degrade due to the fact it's not IP rated, but the sound of the motor is my main concern. So for photos, this is not an issue, and the flip motion is smooth, but for video, especially if you're inside a house with little ambient noise, the motor is definitely audible and could potentially ruin your home video, because you can't help but hear the sort of whirring of the motor inside moving around. I can only imagine that this gets worse over time, and if you are of a clumsy nature, so you're prone to dropping your phone, then expect this to happen pretty quickly, or you could even snap the mechanism off entirely if you are super unlucky. Now, if you're doing travel or scenic shots, then this isn't really an issue, because you can strip the audio from the video and place music underneath, and no one will ever notice, the sound of the motors. Now, some people may see this whole thing as a gimmick, but it does provide a notchless screen and an incredible front-facing camera or wide-angle camera. So for the selfie lovers, this is really the phone for you. Now, my final issue with shooting on this camera is when you shoot in landscape. So the settings option is in the bottom left-hand corner, and every time I take a photo or start a video, my thumb touches this option and it opens up the settings app completely. So it shuts down the Photos app, opens up the settings app, and this could make you miss the shot you're trying to take if it was a bird flying away quickly or something like that. So that was quite frustrating. So if you're someone that changes your phone every year or so, then these issues won't really be too much to worry about. However, if you change your phone every 3 to 5 years, and yes, some people actually do that, I know some of them, then this is something to consider before purchasing, because in that 3 to 5 years time, I can't really tell you how long that mechanism is going to hold up for. But overall, the quality for the price point is great, but do expect better quality from more expensive phones, the leading ones on the market currently. So as previously mentioned, it has a 5000 milliamp hours battery, and it's excellent. There's plenty of battery modes as well, which you can choose from, which are balanced, power saving, super saving. There's even more than that as well. But the main feature is the fact that it supports 18 watts quick charge. So you can charge this phone up really, really quickly. So in conclusion, overall, the Zenfone 6 is a great all-around performer. It's very snappy and responsive to touch. Opening apps and light gaming is great as well, but this phone is mainly aimed at photos and videos. So here the main camera performs excellently. I really like the adaptive HDR as well, and having the wide angle as a bonus is also great. So being able to use both of these as selfie cams is obviously the main pull on this phone, but it does have a few drawbacks which are on par with the pros. So let's take a look at the pros and the cons. So the pros, it is a beautiful notchless display. I really enjoyed consuming media on this phone, it was brilliant. It has great all-round specs. It's affordable for the price point and the specs that you're actually getting. The main Sony 48 megapixel camera is brilliant. The choice of the wide angle camera is good. The flip out camera is great for panoramic photos, which was probably my favorite use of this. And the fact it has a headphone jack. But the cons, it's pretty slippery to hold. It kind of annoyed me a little bit. I almost dropped it. I didn't, but I almost. It has no IP rating, which could be a make or break for most people. The flip mechanism could damage easily, and the noisy motors when videoing or manually moving the camera's tilt was really frustrating. And my last con here is the fact that you can easily close the camera app and launch settings with your thumb because of that option in the bottom left corner whilst you're taking photos. Overall, I actually really enjoyed testing out the Zenfone 6. I know it's not for everybody, and it's probably not for me either, but I actually think it's a good phone all round. And I quite like that they're taking and using their initiative to make something a bit different on the market. And I like that. So carry on, Asus. I think you did a good job here. If you're into your photos and videos on your phone, definitely check this out, but bear in mind the cons. So if you've liked this video, hit the thumbs up. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. If you'd like to see our merchandise, that's down below as well. And don't forget to check out our Twitter and our website as well. So I've been Andy, this is Kit Guru, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.